This is a one-speaker meeting. Please welcome our speaker tonight. Speaker. Where is Michael. Michael.
Hello, I'm Michael, and I am an alcoholic. Let me let my hair down. I was all right till I started seeing people I haven't seen in years, like Jay and who else, and Scotty and Mickey Bush. I've seen him, but he was one of the elders. And let me welcome the people that are new. I've seen a few young people that are new. I'd like to let you know that, I got sober at a relatively young age. At the time, it was young. Today, I see kids like 14 and 15 getting sober. I was actually 26, and I've had a chance to enjoy the rest of my 20s, go into my 30s and have a bunch of fun, into my 40s, have more fun. Yeah, 50 years knocking on the door. I'm right there. I'm a few months away. But it's been an incredible journey for me. Now, I'm not like you all. In the sense of, some of you did drugs, I did too, but I was an alcoholic that drank every day, of course. But, I didn't drink like y'all drank. I didn't hide gin bottles under the bed and, have bottles all over the place. I just, I had other things to do. I had other drugs to try. Now, alcohol was my first drug. And I do consider it a drug, And it was my very first. And I'm going to share this story with you about the first time I got drunk. Now, I grew up in the south of central Los Angeles. I was at a party, a red light party, 1969. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Here I Go Again, was playing on the radio. Well, that was the song that they were playing. And I'm like this 10-year, I'm this 10-year-old, and I'm at a party with older kids. And I'm like looking up at everybody's slow dance. Now, if you haven't seen a slow dance from 1969 in the black community, it was something very sensual and sexual and erotic. And I'm like looking up there, and I so much wanted to be a part of that scene. All the women were taller than me. And, I'm just like, dang, I just left out. I'm left out. I got a hold to some old English 800. Now, this isn't the first time that I drank, but it's the first time that it affected me, like it affected me. I got a hold of some old English 800. Man, I went to Yolanda's mother's bedroom. Yolanda was, the girl that was having the party. Now, mind you, I'm 10 years old. I went to her mother's bedroom. I got some pillows. I brought them out in the living room. I asked the girl to dance. She said, yeah, and I stood up on them pillows. And I can tell you, it's like I had arrived. I felt 12, 13, like all the other kids. That's how I felt, It was like, Bill talks about how he felt he was a part of life that lasts. That's how I felt. And that's what I continue to search for. You know, alcohol was my first and last drink, my first and last drug, but it was a lot of stuff in between. And alcohol was always there, always there. I mean, I might miss a day or two on something else, but I'm drinking. You know, those were the days that I was sober. I considered that sober. Honestly, I considered it sober, you know. And from the age of 12 to 18, no, 12 to 26, I probably had a sober day, maybe two. Not many. Not many. Now, you know, I wasn't one like, you know, a lot of you in here that, you know, that did other drugs where you had mounds and pounds of it. I was a scavenger. You know, I mean, it was just something every single day. You know, it was, I couldn't sell drugs. I tried. Didn't work. I just wanted, you know, I wanted to do them, you know. I never considered myself an alcoholic, you know, because I wasn't, you know, I just didn't. I was too young, you know. I mean, it didn't matter that I, you know, started the morning off with whiskey or cognac in my coffee. You know, that didn't matter. You know, I just didn't consider myself an alcoholic. By the time I was 18, I knew in order for me to do the things in my life that I wanted to do, that I aspired to do, that I dreamed of as a youngster, I knew I had to somehow manage and control the way I was drinking and using. I knew that at 17, 18 years old. I knew it. I knew it with beyond a shadow of a doubt. And that's when I started to try to manage and control the way I was drinking and using. And that's what my life in drugs became from 18 to the time I got here. It was about managing and controlling. As a result of failure, because, you know, if you're a real alcoholic, you're going to have some failure when it comes to managing and controlling the way you drink or the way you use drugs. And so as a result of failure, over a long period of time, you know, the self-esteem is beat down, beat up. You know, so I'm not feeling very good and very hopeful about myself, about what I could achieve. You know, so it was just about giving up. And you know, I used to have a saying: I'm a die high, I'm a die drunk. You know, and when I would give up, that's how I believe. Well, fuck it, I'm just die high. You know, I'm a die drunk. But you know, that Bill Wilson always says that fierce determination to win came back. You know, after failure, because it's been many times. Many times I woke up, I'm not drinking, I ain't getting high, no matter what, it's over with. You know, tomorrow when I wake up, it's good. You know, I'm gonna be sober. I didn't say sober because I really didn't. You know, I thought drinking coffee was sober, and it didn't take much. A phone call, my grandmother to tell me that, hey, why don't you go get us some beer? And I'd be sipping on that drink, and it dawned on me that, you know, I said I wasn't going to get high or drink today. It dawned on me after I would start. You know, absolutely no thought at all about taking that drink. It just didn't dawn on me that I had said that I wasn't going to do this. Before I know it, I said I wasn't going to drink today. I said I wasn't going to get high. Oh, fuck it. I guess tomorrow, you know, I'll do it tomorrow. You know. And so that was my life. You know. I mean, you know, you had the little stuff, the burglaries, the robberies, the fighting here and there, boom, boom, you know. That comes with what we do. That comes with it. I don't think, I mean, for me, what's important is what I went through and the feelings that I had as I went through it. The feelings of failure, the feelings of absolute no control, the feelings of, fuck it, of suicide. It's like, you know, because you get tired. You know, I was riding my bike. I had a few things happen. A string of events happened to get me here. I was in a car accident. This is one thing. I'm in a car accident with this young lady. She's driving. This is about 84 at the time. We're on our way down to San Diego. It was a mass murderer in San Diego at the time. I did not want to go. I was hungover. I was just like, I don't want to go, you know. But, you know, cute face, you know. Yeah, so I said, fuck it. I went. And, you know, we're on the 405 in Laguna Niguel. And I just put on my seatbelts. I just decided I want to go to sleep. So I put on my seatbelts, you know. I said, I don't know why. It wasn't a seatbelt law. I had never worn seatbelts. We crashed like 10 seconds later, seemed like. The steering wheel stopped her from going through the windshield. She's looking at me with a broken jaw, teeth coming out her bottom lip, head smashed. I started, you know, cursing her out. You stupid B, you crazy MF, you trying to kill me, woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I said woo, woo, woo. That's like something, you know, I had an out-of-body experience. I saw myself. I just broke down, you know, because I didn't like the lack of compassion, and I didn't like what I saw I had become. They take us to the hospital, so I'm down there in Laguna waiting for a helicopter to take this girl, bring her back this way. And I'm walking around the hospital. And I seen this girl, she's probably, seemed like 16, she might have been older. Had this book in her hand, blue book. Mind you, had never seen anything about Alcoholics Anonymous. Nothing. I don't know why I inquired about the book, but I did. Oh, it's Alcoholics Anonymous. Come on. And you know, I mean, it's like, hey, she was cute. So I just kind of followed her, you know. She introduced me to Fred. Introduced me to this guy named Fred that had like this little shuffle going on, like he was on something. He was walking real slow, very lethargic. He told me about a meeting on 54th and Western at a church, a school. Now, they talk about the message to get an alcoholic's attention has to have depth and weight. I lived on 51st and Normandy, which is right next door. All I remember Fred doing is telling me about a meeting on 54th and Western. That right there was the message of depth and weight that got my attention. Fred was a white dude also. Fred's in Laguna Niguel. What the hell Fred know about 54th and Western? You know, I don't know. I just felt a connection. You know, when you're getting loaded and you just reach, you want something to hold on to. That just a light array. You want something, you know, because I mean everything I tried, in my own power, it wasn't getting me anywhere. It was keeping me high. It was keeping me miserable. It was keeping me, in my opinion, at the time, a failure. But Fred's message of 54th and Western had depth and weight. And I don't know why. I don't remember what happened. All I know is I couldn't wait to get home. I hadn't been high all day, man. I had to get high. I had to have something to drink. Shit, I couldn't wait to get home. That's all I remember. That's the only thing, that's how I felt. But I remembered Fred. Wow. A little later, maybe a week, I don't know, everything is a blur. But I do remember being in my old neighborhood in North Hollywood, and Alan come running to me with a big book. I got 43 days sober, and he's just, I mean, you remember my perception's off. I don't, this is how I remember it. It might not have been like that. He might not have been that, but that's what it seems like right now. And all I remember is my mouth coming open. How did you do it? Me and Alan didn't get along. But I inquired. I wanted to know. I was desperate, just looking for a way out. I had developed a habit that I couldn't break. And he said, hey, I went to these meetings. Yeah, gave me the phone numbers, gave me a meeting directory. 2 weeks later, I'm riding a bike, and I'm running red lights on Vermont, just running them, boom, boom, boom. I come back to a partner, I said, do you think I'm suicidal? Like, no, you just like taking unnecessary chances with your life. I went to my first meeting that night. And my friend describes it. Carlos describes it. He says, this is how the meeting was. I walk in the meeting. Gabriel, the leader, was a brother. That's Gabriel's position, was a brother. I walk in, I actually felt like a raisin in a bowl of milk. I saw the one black guy. I'm like, well, since the brother's running things, I'll stay for a minute. And see, these thoughts I remember like it was yesterday. I also remember kind of backing out the door after a minute. This lady grabs me. She said, hi, my name is Missy. And she gave me a hug. Alan had gave me a hug. I thought that was peculiar. Missy gave me a hug. The first time in my life, I had hope. This is the first time that I had hope. Usually you had hope in your head when you go to bed that you're going to do it the next day. But this time I had hope in my gut. I really did. And I felt good, y'all. I felt really good. I felt hopeful. I had to go get high. I had to go celebrate. And I'm serious. I'm serious. Because it was the first time that I felt that change was going to take place. And I would drink and get high and tell my friend, man, I got to go to a meeting. And I would come to these meetings high. And I'd feel hopeful and I'd leave and go get high. And, because see, I had developed that habit. See, the obsession hadn't been lifted. No, I take that back. I believe the obsession had been lifted. But I still had a habit. I still had this habit, and I just didn't, I hadn't heard enough yet. I continued to come. You know, one day I heard something. They said if you had any mind-altering chemicals in the last 24 hours, we appreciate that if you didn't share. And I was in there fucked up. I was devastated. I was devastated. I went out and I drank. And I drank. And I drank. And that was the last time I drank. That was 1985, April. Yeah, that's the last time I drank. And, you know, I used to talk a lot about the book. I still do, because there's certain things in there that, you know, the reason I don't talk as much anymore because I used to talk from the podium, tell you what step to do, how to do it, and, you know, and this is on this page here, blue, 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 blam, blam, blam. And I'd go try to sell drugs. I'd be at conventions, I speak, people pat me on the back, oh, you're a great speaker. Yeah, you good, good. Find myself handcuffed for trying to cash bogus checks. So I will say this before I continue. You'll hear a lot of stuff from up on the podium. You'll hear a lot of stuff. You'll hear some fabulous speakers. For me, it came from a man that would always say, fuck the big book. God, sex, and rock and roll keep me sober. People say, oh, he crazy. That guy crazy. I hung out with him. And that guy would take me to halfway houses, you know, work with the young men that's just getting out of prison. You know, try to give them life coping skills to get back into the mainstream of life. He did remarkable work in another fellowship. But everybody was saying he was crazy, and they was patting me on the back. You know, it's about the work we do. It's about us implementing the principles into our lives. Yeah, I can talk a good game all the time, all day long, but it's about implementing what you teach me. You know, it's about me working with others. That's when you see, that's how you see if somebody's really practicing the principles of this fellowship, you know. And for me, it came down to not being convinced that a life run on self-will could hardly be a success. You know, I wasn't convinced of that. As a result, you know, God, you're taking too long, man. I need some money. I need something. No, he wasn't taking long. I just wasn't really practicing the principles that you guys have shown me, you know. And in spite of it all, my journey has been incredible. Incredible. Wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change being handcuffed, being in jail, being in trouble in foreign countries. Wouldn't change it. All this has been a part of, you know, I always say I'm always truly humbled and honored to share with you. You know, I'm humbled because it's something in me that knows that it's been God. I mean, it's like, you know, I've just been really blessed to not use. I really have. You know, because sometimes I'm like, dang, you know, I've seen people use, and I look and I'm like, damn, they've done way more than me to contribute to this fellowship. How could that happen? You know, how could that? So I look at it as a blessing. And that's very humbling to know that, well, you might have had something to do with it, but really, motherfucker, you need to thank the universe, thank God, because, by all rights, especially with my track record before and since I got sober, by all rights, you really are a miracle, and, the only reason you sober is because I say so. People talk about choosing to stay sober. I'm one that believes if I'm practicing these principles and if I do these steps, I lose the choice. I really believe that. I believe those first 90, 60 days, maybe 1 year, I was choosing, I'm going to stay sober today. I was really choosing to stay sober. I'm blessed and been blessed. I honestly believe that long as I do the things that's laid down in front of me, my sobriety is like a sunrise. It's something that is. It's just, I don't think about it. I thank God for it, but it's like I don't pray to stay sober. I pray to be a better person. I pray to have the willingness to incorporate these steps in my life and to practice them. I pray for that. I don't pray for sobriety, but I do thank him for sobriety. I didn't know what to expect when I got here. I really didn't. I think about my life, and if something happened today, I'd tell Mike, I'd tell Sean, just be sure to tell my mom and my girl that he lived a good life and he was happy. Be sure to get that message out. And for me now, the thing I do, it's important. It's imperative. In order for me to find contentment, it's important that I give, that I give of myself. Other than that, if I'm not giving of myself, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something, that's like the most content that's the happiest and the most content that my life is since I've been here. That 12th step. It really is about what we can do for the people around us, How can we contribute to the lives around us? And, that's what my life has become. It really has. And I don't know, man, I'd like to share that I'm actually finished talking, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm finished. Yeah. Thank you.